All right, man. I wish I had something to hold this upward so I don't have to hold it myself, but we're going to have to manage. First and foremost, that was a phenomenal football game, man. The ebb and flow and the emotional roller coaster, I mean, the momentum shifting back and forth was absolutely stupendous. The first quarter was all Kansas City Chiefs. Second quarter was all Pittsburgh Steelers. Second half, back and forth. But before I get into the Steelers, let's just acknowledge and give the kudos to the Kansas City Chiefs winning the game. There's their second back-to-back road game. They came out there, took care of business. Tyreek Hill, you already know he's a threat wherever he touches the football. Kareem Hunt got pretty much locked down. Travis Kelce did his thing, finally made his debut for the year. Patrick Mahomes is the truth. The man's the real deal. He's much better than the check-down poppy Alex Smith himself. Yes, it's only been about 3 starts that we've seen tailing back to the last game last year, but he has one of the better throwing vertical balls down the field that I have seen with my eyes in quite some time. But enough about the Kansas City Chiefs. They took care of business. Let's talk about Pittsburgh Steelers. Number one, I got a lot of tweets and a lot of people text messaging me, DMing me about halfway through the first quarter when the Chiefs took the first, they took a 21-0 lead, talking about we got to fire this person, the game's over, all this other stuff. These are individuals who are not real football fans. And I'm not going to say, oh, you're a fake Steelers fan. You're not a real football fan. Because if you're only 5, 10, 15 minutes into a football game and you're already ready to check out, you're the same person where, let's use recent memory, because I don't want to go back to the Bills versus Oilers playoff game, because most people not going to remember that. But let's just think the Super Bowl 2 years ago when the Patriots played against the Falcons. All these people all hyped up at halftime talking about RIP Patriots. They done came back and won. Football game is 60 minutes. You saw the Pittsburgh Steelers fight. They came back into the game. Those who stay calm, they stay patient, understanding the flow of the game and what led to the scores, are always going to have faith in their team. This was not a sort of game where they beat themselves. No, I'll break it down for you. But just wanted to call out those individuals who constantly reach out to me. Yo, man, who we should get rid of? What's happening out there? It's very simple to be able to identify what the issues are. But first off, first quarter, issues in the special teams. All right, we got to be able to punt the ball better and cover punts better. There was no reason why DeAnthony Thomas is able to just stand there, catch the ball, go down the sideline. Although I can't remember whether it was Emmett, Sutton, or somebody who knocked the ball out of his hand. He was able to have the awareness to find the ball in the air, recovered. Lo and behold, they led to a touchdown. The second touchdown, they had better field position. I believe it was like a 51-yard drive. So they got it past their 40-yard line. That is inexcusable. We've got to be able to get them with the ball from their 25 back. If it's not a touchback, they should not be at the 25-yard line further. No, not at all. We got to punt the ball better. Down the stretch in the second half, Barry did very good punting, except his last punt, which ended up going out into the touchback. They came out. But stuff like that happens. But the first quarter, inexcusable. Then the other drive after that, defensively, we've got to be able to cover the pass. I understand Joe Hayden is out, but we got to be able to cover the pass. Our zones are far too telegraphed. All right, if we're going into that 2 deep man under, matter of fact, no, not even when we're going 2 deep man under, because we got the man on the corner. If we're dropping into that cover 2 zone, we got our corners staying in the flats. The safety got to haul ass and get out there. The pass that they had, I believe it was that Sammy Watkins? Whoever number 14 is on the Chiefs. It was 2 different occasions where he had himself inside the softness of our zone. But it wasn't because the play developed and the offensive line gave him a home times. It was immediate. We've got to have our safeties get out there, whether it's Burnett, whether it's Edmonds, whether it's whoever the hell else is out there. I'm forgetting right now. It's not on the top of my mind. But we got to play better zone. Now, the second quarter, we had the momentum come back on our side. You saw Juju killing, eating the entire game. Antonio Brown, although the numbers didn't translate to anything catastrophic, he was getting doubled. He was moving people towards his side as my phone is going off. I'm pretty sure people are texting me about the game. But he was doing his job. Jesse James played a phenomenal game. The offensive line in the first quarter in particular, a lot of reasons why the Steelers went 3 and out, then went 3 and out, then went 3 and out. In the first quarter in particular was because the offensive line wasn't in mesh yet. They didn't have their game plan in mesh because David DeCastro is one of the probably top 2, if not top guard in the league at the right guard position. So when Finney came in, it took some time to get things rolling, but you saw what happened in the second quarter when they did get the things rolling. They were able to run the football. Ben had time back there, and they got points on the board. I'll say this for Kansas City Chiefs and also football fans around. I don't believe the third touchdown, which ended up going to James Washington, should have been, standing. I believe Ben went a across the line, that should have got called back, especially when you went back to the review. Now, there may be stuff in the rule regarding, well, if you step over the line, or if it's the ball that crosses, or your entire body has to cross. From what I've been taught, that is considered passing the line. You shouldn't be able to score a touchdown on that. But nonetheless, I guess it worked in our favor. I'm not a fan of it, but it put points on the board. In the second half, then we had that even 28-28, and then things got out of hand. We've got to be able to play disciplined football. Might I add, the penalties continue. For a second year in a row, we're killing ourselves with penalties early in the season. I understand Tomlin, down the stretch, we're more of a October, November, December football team, but we cannot start slow in September. I'm not overreacting because I don't take football seriously until week 5. That's when we really start to see how things will play out. If you look in division, especially in the AFC North, you have the Cincinnati Bengals that just defeated the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday. Baltimore is a much bigger threat than Cincinnati is, although Cincinnati is a threat in themselves, but they will Cincinnati themselves down the line and take care of themselves and get themselves knocked out of the playoff run. However, every season is different. I'm going to base this off history. I'm not necessarily a history dude when it comes to NFL, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, our bigger threat here is Baltimore. But let's just look at the records right here. You have a 1-1 being Baltimore. You have 2-0 being Cincinnati. Then you have 0-1, both the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's nothing to be overreacting right now. Why? Because if Cincinnati were to lose a game, Baltimore loses another game, Pittsburgh wins one game, we jump to number 2. So it's nothing inside the division, because you should only be focused on winning the division. Don't think about, well, we go 14-0, 15-0, all this other stuff. Stop overreacting. However, regarding this game in particular, defense has to play better. The pass rush simply did not finish, but it was there. Mahomes had pressure, but he was able to evade it. Cameron Hayward was doing his job getting back there. TJ Watt, for the most part, he was back there. Just got to finish the play and get the sacks. We were stopping rushing plays. Our run defense was great today. However, a lot of missed tackles after the catch. There was many times where you saw, whether it was Sammy Watkins or Travis Kelce or Kareem Hunt or Tariq Hill. I think I said his name already. Somebody else. There was another person on the team where they would catch the ball, they would break through 1-arm tackle, 2-arm tackles. These stuff cannot happen when you're playing football, because this is what kills yourself. You can't have stuff like this happen because it extends drives. You saw it on the final drive of the game. They were able to extend and thus take time off the clock, not even on the last drive. Let's go back to when it was about 9 minutes, because had Pittsburgh got the ball back then, before the forced fumble recovery, the forced fumble from Hayward that got recovered by Chiseled. Before that, on that exact same drive, there was a third down in which it should have been stopped, but a missed tackle cost us to get them off the field. Got to be able to tackle, got to be able to be smart and mindful when it comes to penalties. That's what cost us this game. Those two right there. And defense, we've got to play better in the zone. When we played man-to-man, played all right. There was some holding here, there was some holding there, maybe some pass interference, but for the most part, in man defense, played better. When we played in zone, we gave up points. Got to play better football, but I'm not too worried. I like the resilience of the team. They stuck in there. It's different than last week because you had weather conditions, a whole lot of other stuff. People talking about, well, they played down to the competition. The Kansas City Chiefs may be one and done in the postseason on a consistent basis, but they are no slouch, all right? They are one of the better teams in September because they come out hot before Andy Reid does what Andy Reid does, and they end up blowing it down the line. But they're not blowing it right now. They are 2-0. Their quarterback is probably the hottest quarterback in football. They're playing great football, and we met them after they took a 21-0 lead, and we matched that intensity. So you could be proud of the resilience of the team. However, we've got to be able to finish games. Have to finish games. But I'm not too worried. It's early in the season. Week 2, got to get the defense down. There are some people who are not in the game. Some people are hurt. Other guys are banged up. When they get back, we'll see how things play out. But injuries are part of football. Next man up mentality. But I ain't too worried. All right, it was a hell of a game. Hell of a game. Kudos to the Kansas City Chiefs. You got it done. But for Steeler Nation, we got to go out there and get a W in our column. I don't like seeing that 0 in the first column. You're going to see 1s or 2s or stuff in that second column. The third column, I don't even want to think about ties. But we got to get ourselves a W. We have to get ourselves a W. But get up on here so I can go relax and live my damn life while I'm out here on vacation. Steelers on 3. Win on 6, all right? And we talking about, when we say win, we talking about week 3. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, Steelers. 4, 5, 6, win. Here we go, baby. Here we go. Oh, and P.S., this is very uncharacteristic of me to forget, but Chris Boswell, what's going on? What is going on? I gave you a pass for last week missing that one kick because there was weather defects. This week in particular, there was nothing in the air. Was there a storm coming in from Carolina? Hurricane Florence was coming in. The wind was hitting Pittsburgh. No, it wasn't. So what was a weather defect excuse this week? There was none. All right. I took out insurance in Chris Boswell's toe. All right. It was life insurance. It was covered by Chris Boswell's toe. I think I might have to change that if this continues. Is this one of those, oh, I signed my contract, all of a sudden now I can't do my job effectively? It's not going down like that. You got to get your head out of your ass. For this week, you got to put your motherfucking head back down, man. Seriously, you got to put your motherfucking head back down. What are you doing, Chris Boswell? Get it together. Get it together, man. Make a kick. You're getting paid to kick and make kicks. Make your kicks, man. You left 4 points on the table. Matter of fact, 3 points because they scored the 2-point conversion down the line. You left 3 points on the table. That changes the entire game. Instead of it ending 42-37, it could have been 42-40, and that changes how the final possessions of the game actually play out. Maybe we kick a field goal instead of having to go for 4, or I should say going for it all down the line and taking up all that time. It changes the game. Boswell, you got to do your job, man. You got to do your job. Make those field goals. That's what you're getting paid for. Seriously. I would not like to change my insurance. Don't make me change my mind, Boswell. Don't make me change my mind.